Welcome
Oh, yeah.
to the number one, the Bengals Podcast.
Bengals Podcast.
I'm your host, Eddie
I'm
McDougall.
your host, Eddie McDougall.
I'm joined as always by Dr. Roji, Dr. Gizmoji,
Yeah.
and John Denver Sheeran.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, you only had to add
Just
a
one
last
word.
name.
A country
Right.
road.
And we have HR
wow.
back in the room.
Back in business by popular demand.
I'm not
Oh,
exactly
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly why we have HR here every week.
You don't know,
filed
huh?
the complaint.
Right.
No, yeah. But we do. Yeah.
Yeah, someone doesn't feel comfortable being we don't know, no one has named who it is, but basically someone doesn't feel comfortable being alone in a room with Daddy-O, and that's why HR has to be
Yeah.
here every week, week after week. Now, we don't know who it is.
Well, I think we can narrow it down to two people.
Yeah.
John, let me judge your facial expression, your reaction. No, but look, it's okay. It's okay. Because we have nothing to hide, Bridget. Don't go back and watch last week's show, because there's nothing to hide there. But I want to talk about first, real quick, that you can watch the show on Brinks.tv. And you can watch this show, you can watch the Ray Lewis show, you can watch the Moms in the NFL show, all that stuff. And of course, they have all sorts of new programs all the time. And I'm looking at here at my notes that Courtney gave me. And they have a new podcast by Tucker Carlson.
Wow.
And it's called Too Few Good Men. And it is about increasing testosterone and kind of getting back to the manly man, you know, and he's really concerned with how manly people are. And so that is a great podcast that she's trying to promote.
More men.
Right.
We're
and
already
you could- yeah.
we're already at what, 75% here on the show.
Right. Yes. But look, also you can go to vino.app/DH Sports, and we have a direct line with us. You can talk about, there you go. You can talk about anything that you want. You get updates and all sorts of the draft picks and the insider news, who the Bengals are going to draft, who they are going to sign, who they are going to, let's say, work out. All that stuff, you can find it there.
And you can hear from more men.
Right.
More
You can hear
men.
from more men, yes.
A few good men.
But look,
Few
John,
minutes.
speaking of the draft, we know that the Bengals are going to take a cornerback at some point. I would guess for sure in the first 3 rounds. I think you would agree, right?
Probably.
And, we have this guy here, Alante Taylor, right?
Not going to be drafted in the first 3 rounds, but continue.
Okay, all right. But he's a guy that the Bengals are looking at. He's from Tennessee. And, tell us about him, John.
Well, why is Swift? Is he also like Swift?
He's fast.
Is it-
He's
is part of
fast. He
his
plays
game?
cornerback.
Yeah,
He's fast, yeah.
that is true. He's on the older side, which I think is going to be a theme for the guys that we're going to talk about. He's like almost my age, and for a college football prospect entering the NFL, that's a little bit concerning. He's played a lot of time in college, and it's just a theme with a lot of these guys. But he tested really well at the combine. I think he was like in the 96th percentile in speed. It's in like the 80th percentile in explosion. And there's some people that are saying that the production is not quite there at cornerback because he's a little bit on the older side. There's some issues that he gets in terms of with physical receivers and whatnot. So some people are saying he should switch to safety, but I don't really know if I buy that because he's really experienced and he's really athletic, and to have that long speed, I think, in his back pocket, I think he can survive on the outside of in the NFL. It's just a matter of when you take a guy like that, a guy who was just average in terms of production, who's going to be entering the league in his mid-20s. The thing about cornerbacks is that a lot of them, they have their best years when they're 23, 24 years old, and usually the best ones enter the NFL like 21, 22, so they get a couple of years to develop, and then they hit their stride towards the end of their rookie contracts. With this guy, he's entering the league already at his physical prime, so you're expecting him to come in and compete and give you quality snaps from day one. I don't really know if that's the case if you're drafting him in like the 4th or 5th round. So Taylor's interesting to me. I think he does have versatility ultimately at the end of the day, but maybe not a guy that you want to count on immediately to start day one.
Why is he so old, John? Why is he starting so
What do you
late?
mean, why is he sold? Because his parents didn't
No,
conceive him
why?
until,
No,
like,
no. That's gross. No, I'm talking about why is he entering the draft so late?
Yeah.
I think I feel like that's really personal to everyone.
No, did he was he transferred? Did he injured?
No,
What,
he's just a true
redshirt?
senior. He's just a guy who was
He
really
actually-
old coming into college.
Yeah, he
How
actually took all
old
those
is
courses.
he actually?
So he is 23, and he will turn 24 in December.
And we're calling that old.
Yeah.
Old for these guys.
Joe Burrow was an old man too when we took him, right?
Yeah, Joe Burrow also has a December birthday. He's a Sagittarius, as Daddy-O, or excuse me, Hoji would know. And
Yeah.
he turned 24 as a rookie, so about the same. thing.
Strong-willed.
Now, John, today's show, we're going to talk a lot about the draft, and that means a lot of John. Because,
lot of John.
You know, Hoji and I, we're not big college fans. You know, I don't like
I don't watch.
Yeah, I don't watch. But look, is that, John, is it because it's your show that you are finally observing the DNH Sports dress code and you're
We have a dress
finally
code?
looking professional?
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
No, I
So-
actually dressed up like this because I had a job interview because I need to afford housing and food, and I don't really get that income
Right.
from this program. So
Yeah,
gotta-
and there's a reason that a lot of us are looking for new employment. So, Bridget, I'm glad this came up. There's been something that has been circulating around the DNH office, a document, a secret document, a memo.
Well, it is for all
and he didn't,
employees.
and
I
he
want
did
you to
not
all see
email,
it.
and Daddy did not email it because he knows that you read all the emails. And Courtney, can we pull up the image, the first image of? Now, if you can see it, it's clearly Daddy-O's illiterate
They're
handwriting
values.
here. DH
values, yeah.
values, okay?
Right. Yes.
Tax breaks. I think that's what he
Yeah.
was trying to say in the
You
first
put
one.
the brakes on all the you try to prevent all the taxes you can. Yeah.
And then you got overachieving.
Right. You want to be the top chief. You want to be the top at your game, be above everybody else. Yes.
So
The
he's saying we
Bengals
all have.
definitely overachieved this year.
Absolutely.
That's right. And he's saying we all have to abide by these rules.
Yes.
XTs.
Expertise. You have like John has expertise. He knows the math. You know that's some sort of complicated math formula, but expertise about the industry, about the sports.
This is all behind your back, Bridget. Ignition. Ignition?
Yes. You have to have
Ignition.
ignition. You have to from your lower legs. You have to be very active and proactive and have that self ignition. Yes.
Yes, and then cult sure.
I don't agree
Yes.
with that last one. There's
Everybody-
something sure about Colts.
No, everybody has
Yeah.
to fall in line and buy into the culture here at the Nation Sports. You're always telling me about
that's not
culture,
appropriate.
Bridget.
That's
Hold
not-
on.
you can't have
Bridget's
secret
always saying you have to
men-
culture building. That's what she said.
It's culture,
Right,
not
culture, yes.
culture.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and you see how he has his own very secret sort of memo that he spreads around behind your back, and he's trying to make us all fall in line. And poor John is wearing a suit. And can we bring the second image up now? Look at the letters.
Right.
He is literally creating a toxic work environment.
By accident,
Literally.
I should say.
Well, I mean, is it though? I mean, we're living basically in the Enron of 2022. This is making.
I don't see the problem. I don't see the problem. You look at how much you've thrived, all of you, in your careers, John. All of you, yes.
None of us are
No.
thriving.
Let's move on.
I was
Let's
doing
move
much
on.
better before I met you.
I'm pretty sure John and I were called puppets last week.
Yep.
Are we thriving?
Yeah, can you believe that?
Are we?
It's a natural de-evolution. You'll get used to it.
So Daddy, what are you making people do with that document?
No, don't worry about it. Just pretend
Memorize
it
it.
doesn't exist.
He
Pretend
makes
it
us
worry
memorize
about
it and
that later.
recite it. He makes us
It
memorize
is
it and
about
recite
buying
it.
in. It's about buying into the culture here at the NH Sports. Look, John, let's just move on, John. Look, the Bengals are interested in some receivers. And here's another guy, Isaiah Weston, who he had an incredible RAS score, John, RAS. I think it was one of the best.
Rastufari.
Yeah, was it maybe too high? You know, it was incredible. Was it 9.98 or something, John? Right? It was incredible.
Why would that be too high? Like,
I don't know. I think it's just to play.
Because
play
he
on the
wants
word.
Rastufari to work, you see.
Yes.
It's a pun.
But John, so look, this guy is an incredible athlete, right? He's long, he's big, he's fast, he gets the deep balls. Why is he projected to go so low?
do you know where he played at college?
Northern, Western, Iowa.
That's a trick question. No one knows. That's a made-up school. He played against future janitors and future plumbers and future accountants. Like, he is also really old. He's going to be like my age this year. And I think he played like 5-6 years at the lowest level of college football that you could possibly play. And when you're 6'3", 212, and run like a 4.40 and generate that score because you're really fast and explosive, you tend to dominate against guys who aren't athletically competent enough to match up with you. And that is ultimately, at the end of the day, a projection. If you're so old playing against guys who are younger than you and less athletic than you, and you're dominating, well, that's the expectation. How is that going to work in the NFL when everyone's just as athletic as you? And again, some of them are even going to be younger than you and even more athletic than you. And who knows what his technique is like? What kind of coaching is he getting at that fake university that you just said? So for a guy
I
like
want
him,
this guy.
John, let me ask you something.
I want him. I tell you why.
I want him too.
I tell you why.
I want him like in the 5th or 6th round, yeah.
Yeah.
that might be a little too much.
He has put on an elaborate charade creating a fake university.
Yes.
He reminds me of a young Daddy-O, and he can get
He
things
has bought into the culture right here at the NHL.
Okay, so he could be well on the show, but how do we know he's going to be a good football player?
John, DK.
Oh, I thought this draft was for the show.
I thought you were going to mention DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf did all that stuff against the SEC.
Okay,
It's a little bit
but
different.
John, he is skyrocketed because of his physical ability. They're like, that physicality is going to translate to the NFL. I don't care about his technique or anything. And he went very high.
Wasn't Andrew Whitworth old? I mean,
We're throwing two different things at you, John. Age and DK Metcalf.
Well, age matters because, again, if you are older than everyone going up against you, you are more athletically developed,
Right.
which is very much the case with this guy. You're expected to dominate. Like, that's the expectation, which is why he's going to end up finding himself on an NFL roster, but no one's going to draft him.
Andrew Whitworth was dominating in the Super Bowl at age 40. Okay,
Yep.
so
He's an exception to the rule.
they
There's no,
just-
there's no
Brady.
problem,
Tom
there's no
Brady.
problem
Rumors.
looking at outliers, but you can't rely on outliers to always happen.
I didn't
I
hit
s-
puberty till 23, John. But
Well-
that doesn't mean my puberty is not going to last.
they
as
had you.
long.
They had you on they had you on drugs. Your family
Right.
had you on drugs. We won't talk about that now.
He's
They were
very
all afraid
athletic
about
and he
the
can catch
future.
the ball.
Very-
He can find some type of role, but you don't need to draft him because no one's going to draft him.
Yeah. Okay.
So are
why
we
talking
drafting a
about him?
replacement
Why are the
for
Bengals
me
working him out?
or John?
Why are the Bengals working him out, John?
Because when the draft is over and all these guys are getting calls about sign here, sign here, sign here, you want to have established relationships with these guys so that you can make that call, you can make the connection. Hey, we talked a couple weeks before the draft. Would you like to join the Bengals on a college
Right.
free agent deal? And that's how the process works.
John, where
Here's
is
your
he actually
locker.
going?
Here's your
Let me
locker.
ask
This
you
is going to be your
something.
new best friend.
Let me
This
ask
is
you
the
something.
class pet.
How far did he play from Cincinnati? I don't know what the school was. How far was it?
Northern Iowa, 6-hour drive.
John,
Generous, yeah, maybe 7, 8, 9.
is that actually where he played? I was just guessing. Okay. So I don't know, because that's what I want to talk about the next segments along the lines. The Bengals are working out a lot of University of Cincinnati and Ohio State guys. Now, it used to be that the
Wow,
Bengals
that worked well. Friends in close places. Garrett and Brooks. Is it really Garrett and Brooks? Is that really
Yes.
their names? You did
Yeah.
a nice job there.
Yeah. But here's the thing, John. The Bengals have always been interested in Ohio State guys, but that was back when the team wasn't good and they were trying to boost morale by getting the local, the homegrown kids, right?
Yeah.
Now that the team is good, I'm starting to wonder if their kind of obsession with Cincinnati, Ohio State, these type of guys could have to do with the fact that they only have 2 scouts or 6 scouts or whatever, and they don't have to travel as far, they don't have to travel as much, makes it easier on them and cheaper.
So what Zach Taylor said at a coach's clinic at Ohio State not even a week ago is that because of all the Ohio State players that we have that have produced well for us, we're going to look at Ohio State players more because there's a precedent for those guys doing well for them. And that's for Zach Taylor's coaching.
He's
tenure.
very good at spinning things, better than me. Yes.
Sure. But I think that has some weight to it. If you trust the program, if they continually gift you quality players, then you're always going to take a longer look at them.
What about
Well,
Cincinnati?
plus-
Alec Pierce, and then we have this guy Garrett. We have all
So
these.
Garrett is
Cincinnati
from
guys.
Ohio State. Curtis
Brooks.
Brooks is from UC. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. He's also kind of on the older side. I think he's going to be 24 years old. And that's going to be one of the reasons why he might not be drafted. But everything else about Curtis Brooks is phenomenal because he was really productive. He tested really well. He played in the
Rastafari.
defense he's not He didn't play in a defense that's too common in the NFL because he was like a nose tackle, like straight up, and isn't really the size of a nose tackle. So his projection in terms of his role in the NFL is a little bit shaky, but everything else about him, I think he might end up getting drafted in the late rounds, and I think it's good that he's now been in the building at UC, and yeah, I think that's a possibility for sure.
Yeah, they're going to have to invest in some ice packs, some Rogaine, some some hot and heat, and some things for it. But it's not. Yeah.
I'm really interested in Haskell Garret, though. Like, he became the first Ohio State player to win the Polynesian Player of the Year award. He was there for like 5-6 years. He ended up getting shot in the face, breaking up a bar fight in Columbus, and he came back to play football for 2 months. But then he played football, and he was pretty decent at it, but he didn't really test really well. So I don't really know where he's going to get drafted, and he's a nice story, though.
Yeah. Well, speaking of nice stories, Hoji, I think we could go for a nice story right about now.
Sure. Story time?
Yes.
Let me then begin my horoscope. So, if you follow the Hollywood news the way I do, you've probably heard about Jared Leto. Jared Leto is a friend of mine, and he got in a bit of trouble recently because he's a method actor, and what that means is that he gets into a role by being totally absorbed in it, living that life, and he's playing in the movie Morbius, a man who is immobile and in a wheelchair, and so he went so far beyond with his commitment to being in the role and doing the method acting that they would literally roll him to the bathroom and have him in the wheelchair and help him into the bathroom and things like that. But method acting is just one kind of acting. There's another kind of acting, another school of acting, which Tom Cruise is committed to. I don't know if you've heard of the Meisner technique, but the Meisner technique, you master a certain move, certain accents and things like that, and then you kind of improvise on the spot, right? And that made me think of none other than Joseph Ossai. And you might say, what's the connection between Tom Cruise and Joseph Ossai? Joseph Ossai, an amazing, amazing player who was supposed to actually be playing this past year and would have had a Super Bowl run, but he got hurt. He tore his meniscus. He's born in Nigeria. He moved to the United States in 2010. Actually, he recently had a birthday on April 13th. He weighs 256 pounds. And the man is explosive. He's fast. He sacked Tom Brady, if you remember, in the preseason. We're excited to have him back. And he is a kind of method actor, if you will, of playing defense. The man, even like Tom Cruise, performed his own stunts. I don't know if you know that. He performed his own stunt in the game. He told Sam Hubbard, I'm going to do a stunt, and he did the stunt. It was amazing. And the man, like Tom Cruise, gets in the role. He prepares. He's fast. I don't know if you know, Tom Cruise will not allow other actors to run next to him. Did you know that? He will not allow that. And you can't run next to Joseph Ossai. He's so fast and explosive. So my horoscope, my prediction for this man, who was not born on the 4th of July, which, by the way, Tom Cruise won a Golden Globe in 1990, also wheelchair. Yeah. But anyways, my prediction is that Ossai's mission, should he choose to accept it, will be to jump on the sofa of success, get 23 sacks this upcoming season, beating Reggie White's 21 sack in a year in 1987, TJ Watt's to 22.5 in 2021, and Aaron Donald's 20.5 in 2018. I think this is the man. I think that we are going to see great things from Joseph Ossai.
Wow, I agree. I'm very excited about Ossai. And I didn't know he was so similar to Tom Cruise. That was very fascinating. But I think
he just wanted to talk about Tom Cruise, maybe.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Great music, by the way. But let me just say this, Hoji. I hope you're not trying to get him on one of those crazy vegan diets to kind of make your kind of prediction come true. One of those, what is it that you put you put the little powders, the green powders in the water?
Athletic greens.
Right.
Shall I talk about athletic greens? Sure. Because I'd like to talk about athletic greens. I feel strongly about athletic greens. Did you know that athletic greens is made in New Zealand by elves and hobbits with big and hairy feet? Did you know that while we call beans the magical fruit, athletic greens is really the magical fruit? Why? Because it's a delicious scoop of 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to start your day right. Did you know that it's a special blend of ingredients that supports your gut health? It anti-aging. Boy, our Bengals team is going to need that, right? It supports a friendly range of diets, including my vegan diet. And you got to take it. I take it every day. I put it in water. You go to athleticgreens.com/believe. That's BLEAV. athleticgreens.com/BLEAV, believe. And you get your Athletic Greens with a special deal. Okay, 5 free travel packs with your first purchase, and free 1-year supply. So just do it, okay?
Right. So they just go and they use that.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Athletic Greens take ownership of your health.
Right. Just believe, yes, that go there. All right. Well, finally, Bridget, you have the floor. Yes.
Awesome. So some real news. I don't know. I don't think we actually have real news. I was just being melodramatic, which is what happens when you disappear off the face of the earth for a week and then come back. So it is April. Does anybody know what month April represents? You know, sometimes we have months like Women's History Month, which was last month. Does anybody know what April is?
Well, I'm not reading the screen, but I think it's National Mountaineer Month or something.
It's a V. Volunteer.
Okay, good job, John. Yeah.
We all know John is more literate than Daddy-O. That's clear. So it is National Volunteer Month. And we've talked, since I've been mandated to join this show.
May I just say, Bridget, that also former prisoner of war recognition day is in April, and we are all prisoners of this show.
I think we all plead the fifth on that.
Yeah.
So we've talked about some different causes that our Bengals support, and just recently our own BJ Hill, who we know just got a big contract and will be coming back with the Bengals. He was back in his hometown of Oakboro, North Carolina, and I wanted to make sure I gave them the proper plug. Main Street Cup and Cone. So he was volunteering to say thank you to his hometown community. They became a huge part of the Houday Nation on the Bengals run to the Super Bowl. So he was scooping ice cream to say thank you for their support. And we all know that our Cincinnati Bengals players have huge hearts and do so much for the community. We've talked about Joe Burrow's Hunger Relief Fund, Hayden Hurst Foundation. I went back and watched a video that the Bengals posted around Christmas time, or around the holiday season, I should say, where locally in Cincinnati, they were supporting the Free Store Food Bank, the Salvation Army. Travion Williams did a toy drive. Joe Mixon went out and bought a bunch of bikes for kids in the area. So we've got a lot of our team who is volunteering all throughout the year. And I know we've got incredible fans who are part of the Houday Nation who are volunteering and using their fandom to support great causes. So for folks listening, if people want to comment or tweet at us any causes that they support, that they volunteer for, we would love to hear that. And because I'm now sort of loving putting you all on the spot and asking you questions, I want to know, if you were to go out and volunteer tomorrow, what cause are you going to support? And I'm actually going to give you all a couple minutes. I'm going to go first. So I don't know if everybody knows this. I live in Cincinnati, and I'm on the board of a great local nonprofit. It's called Indigo Hippo, and it's an art supply store, a pay what you can, and they also do art support and services in the community to make art and creativity really accessible, especially to kids who may not be able to have access to art supplies. And we all know how important creativity is to mental health. So that's my volunteer service that I do all year, but a cause that's really near and dear to my heart. And so if anyone, that's my shameless plug, if anyone's in Cincinnati, Indigo Hippo is right on Main Street. So you should definitely check them
So
out.
free art supplies.
They are not free.
Oh,
You should pay what you can. So
Bridget,
if you are...
I was going to say, I think your goodness balances out the evil of Daddy-O. Do you agree with that? Yin and yang.
I kind of want us to have like a Star Wars lightsaber.
Just agree. It's okay. You saw the paper.
I saw the paper. So, Hoji, where would you volunteer? What cause would
Wow, I
you step up for?
am really torn between two that matter a lot to me. The first, Helping Hands Monkey Helpers. I don't know if you've heard of them, but Helping Hand Monkey Helpers trains monkeys to help people with special needs who need animal help. And the second one might strike you as a little bit odd, but it's called Be a Deer and Donate a Brassiere. And basically, there are women all over America who do not have brassieres, and this makes sure that anybody who needs a brassiere can get a brassiere. Now, I used to be heavier than I am now. Yes, I used to wear a brassiere. I am not ashamed of that. Yes, I used to wear a male bra. That is nothing to be ashamed of. Do not fat shame me. But I tell you what, if I were homeless and I needed that help, Bridget, I would want to have that help. So Be a Deer, Donate a Brassiere is the first one, and my second choice is the Monkey Hands, Helping Hands Monkey Helpers. Yeah.
All right, let's go to John. Thanks,
So
Hoji.
I did some volunteer work in college with some homeless shelters and some food kitchens, and I think that's usually the place that I would go next, just because those people don't get enough support, and homelessness is already way higher than it should be. It's higher than zero, so until we can get that down, I think we could all do a little bit more work to get that under control a little bit.
All right, Daddy-O. Make us proud. Make
but
us
we'll be proud. I don't just volunteer.
This man has never given anything in his life.
Hold on. I don't just volunteer in this month. I do it all the time. I actually volunteer at a number of local restaurants, because I don't know if you know, but we have a problem where people are throwing out delicious food that is in perfectly good condition. These restaurants, they just throw it into the dumpster, and it's basically, there's no reason they should be doing that. So, and I know how overstaffed people are, these restaurant workers, and they don't have the time to take the dumpster.
Understaffed.
Yeah, and so I go and I help them. I tell them, any food you want to throw out, I will take it to the dumpster for you. I've been doing this for quite some time.
They should take you to the dumpster.
Daddy-O, that sounds like stealing.
That's not a charity. You're
Wait. Yes or no question. Does the food make it to the dumpster?
You know?
It does. He eats it out of the dumpster. The man wears a tie, a silk tie, and he eats out of a dumpster. You know, by the way, I got to say, Bridget, I hear the purring of your cat. It is such a cute
so
cat. Can we
sorry.
see?
Can we
No,
see
I want to see.
Matilda?
Can we see Matilda?
Yes.
This will cheer us up after Daddy-O's nihilistic dumpster diving.
I would
That's
give my
beautiful.
leftover
Look at
food to
that cutie.
Matilda, 100%.
She would love your leftover food. Look at
I think we should replace Daddy-O as host with Matilda. Matilda would do a better job, and she wouldn't be as cruel.
Matilda was a rescue cat from Perfect Friends Cat Rescue. So animal charities are also a great way to volunteer.
Adorable.
Right. Well, another great way to volunteer your money is by giving it to us on the show. You can go to patreon.com.
No, that's not volunteering.
No.
But look at this show. Look at this. Look how complete. our
Thumbs
team
up
is
it.
now.
Yeah. Thumbs up
Yeah,
it.
do that. Do the thumbs up. Subscribe. Turn on notifications. It's a little bell. Make sure you turn that on. And leave comments. We want to see comments. Look,
Yeah,
I
I'd
want
like
to
to see-
apologize.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I
I'd
want
like
to
to-
apologize
Whoa.
to all our fans if
I'm
we
out.
don't engage with the chat, because we can't do that with on Brinks. But I see them after the show, and if you're watching us anywhere, you can obviously subscribe to the number one Bengals podcast, and we are DNH Sports on YouTube. If you're watching us on the Believe YouTube channel, that is all we have.
Yeah.
Other than for Dr. Hoji, Dr. Kismoji, and John Denver Sheeran, and HR, I'm Daddy McDougall. We'll see you next time. So long, Sweetie Pies.